Hey, my friends. This is what's referred to as a toy hauler. It's basically a recreational trailer that contains everything that a typical travel trailer has in it. A kitchen, propane cooktop, a sink with a propane refrigerator, small bathroom with a toilet and a shower. It has a propane furnace and sofas that fold down into beds. It even has an air conditioner. I definitely use that. And came with the microwave that I just got rid of. I didn't use that, but these are all things that you'd expect to have in a recreational trailer, but it's the physical layout of this style that makes it unique. It has a large open space where you can park your toys in there. Things like motorcycles or scooters, bicycles or kayaks, or anything else that would generally require a utility trailer to transport. Most toy haulers don't have a dining room table, and this is where some of the space-saving compromise comes in. This particular trailer came with a collapsible table that operated much like a traditional ironing board. That's the best way to describe it. And I found that it was just too big and heavy for my needs, so I ended up giving it away. Instead, I used an adjustable desktop that I found at a thrift shop, and it's the perfect size and it sits nicely on top of my workbench, which I also bought at a thrift shop. I removed and stored the other bench on one side of the wall, and that gave me even more space to spread out. An additional feature, though, is the back wall is hinged at the bottom, and it can be folded down and turned into a ramp to load all your toys. So there are times when I open that just to capture the view and the fresh air. When there are fewer insects flying around looking for my blood, I generally do that in the fall. The previous owners had velcroed some strips on the top of the wall and put a bug screen up there, but I found it to be kind of too ineffective, so I might do something different next year, but we'll see. But when I was planning on my move across the country, I didn't have a lot of stuff, but I knew that I needed some sort of moving vehicle. So I began looking at different options. And initially, I researched the cost of renting a U-Haul cargo trailer, thinking that this would be the simplest way to go. But then I found out that renting one of their trucks wasn't that much more expensive. So I kind of thought about renting a truck from them. But then I needed to move my pickup truck as well on the back of it or whatever. And I just started to see the cost and complexity of this scenario becoming increasingly kind of unworkable. So I pondered that over the next couple of weeks and contemplated purchasing a used cargo trailer for a couple $1,000 more than what it would cost to rent one from U-Haul. And I figured that I'd have it if I needed it after moving for odd jobs or whatever, or I could just sell it again. And then I thought about buying a small recreational trailer instead of the cargo trailer, and thinking that I definitely would use it for camping after I moved. So this idea was kind of much more aligned with my needs than the others. So I began kind of looking at travel trailers at that point. And I wasn't sure if I could fit all my stuff in there. And I certainly didn't want to be dragging a 30-footer around behind me if that's what it meant. But lo and behold, one day, searching online, I stumbled across a toy hauler, and that's when the light went off. It looked like the perfect setup, and it left plenty of space for my stuff. I also had my dog with me at the time, so I'd be living in this unit for a short time, and I figured that it would be kind of comfortable for both of us. A short time, 2 years later and counting. But that's what makes it unique, and that's why I'm talking to you today about it, because it's a kind of a unique situation and might come in handy for some of you. So I searched for a few weeks online, and I found this 16-footer that was a couple of hours from where I lived, and the owners, they were kind enough to hold it for me until I arrived to look at it. And they told me the reason that they were selling it was because as a couple, they woke up at different times in the morning and they were looking for something a little bit larger, a larger toy hauler with more space to spread out, and something that would allow the one partner to wake up in the morning and have their coffee and not disturb the other one. So they ended up going with the bigger one. But for me, this is the perfect size. So I bought it that day and I dragged it home a few weeks after that. It's worked out great. Personally, I really like this layout, and I would buy another toy hauler in the future, even if I don't have toys, because there's a couple key benefits to it. It's one of them is being very spacious. Not only can you pack a huge amount of stuff into it when you're traveling, but you also feel the spaciousness of it while you're living in it. I don't feel cramped. I can actually lay down on the floor and do some stretches, which is especially important in the winter time and also bug season again. So it's important to note that the trailer was to be a temporary situation. So I had no intention of living in it permanently. So the whole stretching out thing on the floor, it really wasn't a concern to me at the outset. It's something that dawned on me after the first few months, and I just lucked out with this little unit to accommodate those needs, because I realized for me how important that was. Now, since the back wall opens and turns into a ramp, large and awkward items can be loaded into it, which is how I moved my granny chair inside. I've moved lumber with it. I moved a whole load of branches that I cut down from a friend's tree. Tons of furniture I brought to my sisters and family members, and for me myself, using it to move. So it came in really handy for that. The space also meant that I could keep Miko's full-size dog bed in here. And since I was upending his world too, I wanted to make sure that he was, as comfortable as possible as well. So that made a huge difference in my both of our comfort levels. Now, because toy haulers have less built-in furniture, they're also a lot lighter than traditional trailers of this size. I had a friend who he bought a tent trailer which weighed in at 3,200 pounds. Yeah, a tent trailer. This unit weighs 1,000 pounds less. Now, having talked about gas mileage, here's one thing I wish my trailer had: a different front end. The front end of this trailer is not very aerodynamic. It's not flat. It has a slight angle to it, but it's just not aerodynamic. And if it had more of a slant to it or a different design, maybe a V front on it or whatever, then the mileage would be much better, because you're not pushing a wall of air when you're driving down the highway. I looked at adding wind deflectors onto the roof rack of my truck, thinking that this would dramatically improve the mileage while towing. But thanks to one YouTuber who had gone through the whole process of setting up this experiment to test this, I didn't need to. He had mounted wind deflectors on his truck and measured results on several long trips up and down hills with and without the wind deflectors attached. And he discovered that the wind deflectors attached with the deflectors attached, it actually dropped his mileage. And that's probably because the wind turbulence behind it was too much for it. And unlike 18-wheelers where the trailer is very close to the cap and there's not much distance, not much air between the two, there's not as much air turbulence. So the mileage would be better in that case. But having said that, I have this unit sitting stationary on my little property here, so I'm not overly concerned about fuel economy at this point. However, originally I was planning on traveling around with it in tow. So this would be a consideration if you're planning on doing the same thing, traveling with it. It pretty much tanks your gas mileage by about half when you're pulling it around with you. Now, you ask, is this thing winterized? Because I live in it year round, and no, I say, not at all. It's strictly a summer trailer, and I really don't do much to winterize it either, because it's small enough that I don't really have to. In the fall, I drain the water from the water lines and the holding tank and the water heater. But from there on in, right through winter, I keep gallon-sized jugs of water inside the trailer to keep them from freezing. And I fill those up at a local spring, which runs all year round. So I have that benefit. The jugs don't freeze because by the time November rolls around into Canada, I have the heat on 24/7 until spring. So instead of using the sink faucet that pulls water from a storage tank, which is right here, I have a little small rechargeable pump that fits on top of the gallon jug, so I use that. And for daily showers, I boil a pot of water and mix in some cold, dump that into a small bucket where I have a rechargeable pump and shower head, and I shower in my tiny bathroom in the trailer. I have a holding tank on the property for sewage, so I use that for my waste. Yeah, that's how I get by in the winter time. It's a good idea to insulate this kind of trailer or anything else you're going to live in as much as possible for winter. You can find lots of winterizing tips right here on YouTube. One upgrade that I did make last fall, in fact, was installing the puzzle piece foam flooring. It's the stuff you can find in kids' playgrounds or playrooms, rather. And because it's made of closed cell foam flooring, it insulates and adds a nice cushioning to your feet. It's easy to clean. If you wanted to wash it, you could pull out any of the pieces and just take them outside and wash them if you wanted to. This alone made a huge difference in my comfort level, and there was no way I could walk around barefoot in middle of winter time without that foam flooring. So even in summertime, it's much nicer underfoot. It's really cushy. Now, some folks, they'll put skirting around the base of the trailer to keep the winds out and keep it insulated and warmer inside. And that's a great idea if you're living in a larger trailer than this one. I would do the same thing too. But I've found that with this size trailer, being on the smaller size, it's not bad in winter, comfort-wise, and also cost-wise, with my little diesel heater running, which I'll show you at a later date. And honestly, I'm one of those people who likes to wear shorts and bare feet at home all year round, really. So that gives you an idea of the sense of comfort that I have in here. Now, come January and February, no, I'm not wearing shorts in there. I'll have long pants on, but as much as possible, I like to be in shorts. So another thing I do is for winterizing is, actually I have it on all year round, is I put a tarp over the roof and the awning, and that keeps any snow or ice from potentially damaging the roof vents or anything where they can crack, where it can crack the anything plasticky or whatever. So and that allows me to keep the awning extended somewhat in the winter time with the tarp over it. Again, that protects the awning. And so I like to sit out here in winter time and with my little wood stove going and stuff like that. Now this trailer also has, and other toy haulers too, they have air vents on them. There's one air vent right here, and they typically have 2 windows as well, which isn't a lot, but it's fine for this trailer. I get a lot of light coming in it, and also light through the door here, through the window and the door, so that's fine. And in wintertime, I use a small heater, which I mentioned, which sits outside on the other side of the trailer here. The vent on the other side is low down to the ground, and it's on the back corner. So what I do there is I connect my heating hose to that vent, and that's the beauty of the toy hauler. It's got these two vents in it, because typically they're designed to transport, gas-powered toys, motorcycles and such, or snowmobiles too, whatever. And typically they'll be on a several days trip, so they'll have jerry cans of gas in there as well. So that's where these vents come in, preventing the buildup of gas fumes and stuff like that. So if I didn't have the vents, then I would have to plumb that. I'd basically have to make a template of wood and drill a hole through the middle of it or whatever to have the ducting for my little furnace come through there. So that would block, obviously, part of my window here, and that's the beauty of the toy haulers. I don't have to do that. My windows kind of stay open and whenever visible during the all season. So beauty of the toy hauler. It's another benefit of having it. So yep, it's a huge benefit for me. So I have the heater outside. I don't have to take up space with it inside the unit, and it's a great benefit of having these vents here. Again, I'll talk about the diesel heater because that's a must-have item for me for wintertime. It's just makes things a lot more comfortable. And now, on a side note, for anyone who's not an off-gridder or has no intention of becoming one, there's another benefit of the versatile toy hauler layout. One day in the summer, just after parking my rig across from a park, an older couple pulled up behind me, and they'd gotten out and approached me and told me that they also had a small recreational trailer about the same size as this one here. But now that the woman needed a mobility scooter, it was getting really difficult for them to get out because of her physical issues. And they had seen the back door on my unit, and that's what made them pull over and look at it. We chatted for a little while, and I gave them the 10-cent tour. And they seemed like an adventurous older couple, only really hampered by the physical effects of aging. So we talked about the benefit of being able to easily and safely drive the mobility scooter up the ramp and secure it to the floor. There are little tie downs on the floor that you can ratchet strap your toys to. So I hope that maybe my little tour spurred them on, and that they traded in their little travel trailer for a toy hauler for themselves, and ultimately ended up extending their camping life adventures and the stories that go along with it. So maybe one of your family members have mobility issues where a mobility device such as a scooter or wheelchair is needed for them. You can use the space inside to secure those items along with any other things that you have, that so that you can bring your family members or anyone else who you want to share your love of outdoors with. So there's another side benefit to this the layout of the toy hauler. It's really cool. If you're considering living in an RV rather full time, the toy hauler might check most of your boxes. So I hope that I've kind of opened your eyes to some new ideas for you. It's a lifestyle that's worth checking out regardless of what type of accommodations you prefer. There's definitely something that will suit your needs, where you can determine the level of comfort and simplicity that suits you. Full hobo, luxury hobo, or hybrid hobo. That's kind of what I'm doing. So I find that whatever your preference is, it'll give you great satisfaction and freedom, really, in how you spend your time and your money, without the need to be tethered to a mortgage or a house that begs for endless renovations, or apartment after apartment that never quite suits your needs. And ladies, this lifestyle is definitely for you too. It's for everybody, and don't think otherwise. There are a lot of great tips from women who are living this life, who address their own unique needs and perspectives rather on off-gridding. So and again, it's not just about sunsets and beachside vistas. It's about the rainy days and the wool sweaters and the simple appreciation of having a roof over your head. It's for all the small things which bring you joy and bring you closer to yourself than maybe ever before. It's not about avoiding life, it's about embracing it. There are lots of resources for you from people who've experienced this lifestyle and want to see you succeed in yours, and I'm definitely one of them. So try it out. It's fun. And reach out if you have any questions. Until the next time, from this Tidy Hobo to you, have yourself a great day. Thanks for coming by.